Hi, Mama. If you're watching this at 2 a.m. while you're feeding your baby, then I just want to say this video is for you. Before I even begin, I want to say something. I'm completely new to YouTube. I've actually been away from social media for a long time. This is not polished, this is not edited, this is raw. This is unfiltered and the most authentic version of me, which is speaking to you today because motherhood just striped away every performance, and what really remained was truth. So, here's the part which no one talks about and no one prepared me for. Um, I was a biotechnology educator. I hold a PhD degree in by life sciences. I loved my 9 to 5 job, my career. I was ambitious, I was focused, and I was deeply passionate about science. But nothing, absolutely nothing prepared me for postpartum. Yeah, I mean, when my son Omkar was born, something inside me shifted, not externally, but internally. There were a lot of things that happened. I remember those nights, endless breastfeeding, 2 hours of broken sleep, crying silently, no one could hear, feeling guilty for feeling overwhelmed. In the beginning there was help. I'm truly grateful for that. There was help from my parents and in-laws. They made an attempt to come here, stay with us, and they tried to help me in the beginning. But once everyone left, but of course no one can stay with you forever, right? I mean, once everyone left, it was just me and the baby. My partner was here, but he was not able to give much time because of his long working hours and travel. So this is when the actual transformation begins, and this is when I realized, when growth comes, that's when you understand how to navigate the challenges. Postpartum recovery is not at all about only physical healing, it's about your nervous system, your emotions, your identity, your spirit. No one teaches you how to regulate yourself when you're exhausted and overstimulated. I mean, as of for me, I mean, there was no one platform where everything was available, where I could just navigate and get better. So my breaking point came after the awakening. For years before motherhood, even before motherhood, I was already navigating health challenges. I had some issues, upper respiratory issues, myalgia, chronic discomfort, etc. So the journey that pushed me towards prioritizing the physical and mental health was prioritizing on long walks, meditation, and conscious living. So this is something that I used to do, but then motherhood, it cracked me open in a way no one else, or I mean nothing else had. It showed me my fears, my triggers, my suppressed pains. I had two choices, either to stay in survival mode or learn how to ground myself. So during these times, during those days when I was completely feeling restless, I came across the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. His teachings on rewiring the brain, and how altogether you can become a new me by reprogramming and rewriting your old set of automatic programs. So this rewiring thing, it gave me some kind of hope. I began practicing breath work, emotional regulation, visualization, blending scientific principles with ancient wisdom. Slowly I began seeing that small shift, not perfectly, not overnight, but consistently. So I just realized consistency was the key. So some point I realized my priorities had completely changed, not because I stopped loving science, but I understood something very deeply. I understood that motherhood, if it's properly regulated, if it is emotionally regulated, the entire home feels peaceful. If any mother feels constantly overwhelmed, then everyone absorbs that energy. So I made a decision. I stepped away from my stable 9 to 5 job to be present with my family and to understand postpartum very deeply. I completely got into postpartum healing. I pursued certifications in mindfulness, meditation. I tried to study nervous system regulation, giving that my background is in biological sciences. I have a PhD in biological sciences. Why not put that into use? Yeah, why can't I understand this postpartum healing by understanding human body? Because this is what I used to do, right? So I got to understand postpartum healing. For the last 2 years, I have been working on tools and techniques, especially that work during sleep deprivation, emotional overwhelm, fear and uncertainty, and feeling unheard. Now I feel like I want to share them. And what actually mothers need is not to bounce back immediately. Of course, you can't just bounce back immediately. I mean, we usually, I mean, in India, there is a maternity leave of 6 months of period, and some companies they often even more time for postpartum women. But I still feel you can't immediately bounce back unless and until your emotional, physical, mental health is regulated completely. You don't need to lose quickly. You don't need to prove that you're a super mom. Yeah, you don't need to do that. You need emotional safety. You need grounding tools. You need self compassion. You need gentle strength. Someone to say you're not failing. Postpartum is not weakness, it's an awakening. It's amazing. It's an identity shift. It is to break you open so that you become more aligned, more aware, more powerful, but in a softer way. If you don't recognize yourself anymore, you're not broken, you're just becoming. So, this space is for women, pregnant women who are preparing, who needs to prepare consciously, new mothers who need who feel unseen, women who want both science as well as spirituality. So I'm here to share nervous system regulation tools, mindful practices, emotional resilience techniques, gentle strengthening practices, and honest conversations about motherhood, because you are the woman of the house, and if you're emotionally well, everything flows peacefully. Healing mothers, they need to create peaceful homes. If something resonated with you, if you felt something, even for a woman, throughout this entire video you felt something, then stay, subscribe. I'm going to be here. So this is not a perfect channel, to tell you honestly. It's not perfect, it's just real one. Okay, so with this I think I will conclude here, and I'll see you all on my next video. So thank you, bye bye.